What up, anime fans? I am back from the video reviewing the second part of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Battle Tendency. I'm sorry this is a little long. It took me a lot. Sorry, it's been a little while since I last did my review. I'm being a lot caught up with other things right now. Um, I also found out there's gonna be some lot of anime Even Shonen Jump coming out in 2024. I actually ordered Volume 1 of Undead Unluck and Golden Kamari. So yeah, I'm gonna plan to review all the Shonen Jump anime coming out next year, and really looking forward to when more again the anime is going to be announced at Jump Festa this year. Also, a little note. What was I gonna say? Oh, hold on. My brain just got for a sec. What was I gonna say? Oh, yes. Possible estimated release dates for the reboots of Kinnikuman and Mr. North Star. If we're going by the anime anniversaries, not the mangas. So if we're going by anime anniversaries, Kinnikuman anime released in 1986. And the last bit, Mr. North Star anime came out 2 years earlier in 1984. So my guess is the reboots will come out in 2026 and 2024. But I could be wrong about that. You know, I'm just making a guess based off the anniversary lines announced, basically anniversary tags, and that means the Person Lost Star anime could already be in production quite a little bit before it was announced, and it's right. I'm releasing sometime next year in 2024. I think if they go by anime anniversaries, not the mangas, but I could be wrong. They could go by the manga anniversaries too. So I'm just making an estimated guess, and I'll try to play this with that guess. So, but if they convert to be different dates, then I'll change them. Now, I'm not making any speculation. I'm just guessing. You know, I'm not saying it's gonna happen that specific day and stuff. No, it's just a guess. Okay, I'm just guessing. I'm surprised Anime Heroes never released any JoJo toys. Like, I love to see JoJo characters, all characters, with their stands. I pre-ordered Stone Ocean and ordered the Japanese version of Steel Ball Run's manga. Obviously, because there's no English version yet. We have waiting for quite a while before the English translation of Steel Ball Run officially comes out in volume form. Still, Stone Ocean's manga got its proper English translation a couple weeks ago. Because it's already past 90 or so chapters since it's recently releasing weekly. So apart from that, I'm gonna go back and read every part of the every chapter that comes out. That'd be interesting when we reading the official translations of specific parts. As if they start releasing it after the Stone Ocean's English translation is done. Not immediately, but if they do decide to do that. I also plan to cover a lot of the Jump Cancel manga. I was inspired by Trenton Art, I think he was called. Because he recently started a series called the X-Files. Yeah, it's a play on the word X-Files. Which will cover all kinds of the Council manga from Jump. You know, and ask the question, do they deserve to be cancelled? So yeah, I actually want to try myself as well. It does inspire me. So you go check it out and subscribe to him. He's a good guys make good content. You know, some of his videos he has a bit of a quieter voice. Don't ask. Anyway, let's get into Battle Tendency. So, well, the story opens up 50 years later. 1889 is when the series ended. Part 1. Band of Blood ended in 1889. Mhm. But it's 50 years after the battle begun in 1888, so it's now 1938. And World War II is on the brink of happening in a couple months, since it's late 1938, and a few months it's 1939, because there's specific dates that happen in the story. We're in New York, as we head to New York, but first we catch up with two familiar faces, Robert E.O. Speedwagon and Straits, or Straight So. Yeah, now I'm paying attention to the subs closely. He can either be going by Straits or Straight So. But I'm going to refer to him as Straits. Now the manga has a bit of a mix-up. Both manga and anime have a bit of a continuity mix-up. And I'll get to that in a bit. They find a man in a pillar, who has the same stone mask that Dio used. And Jonathan lost his life. So by the way, Speedwagon is now a rich tycoon running an oil company. But it's also revealed that his company, he founded a secret organization with it too, in his foundation. It's secret because it's to help the Joestar family out. The Speedwagon Foundation. Now their names are going to be important for in the future. They're going to be appearing throughout the original continuity, and they do appear in this other continuity too. Just one of the people to introduce it, the Speedwagon Foundation, was in Part 8 by Lucy Steele, who survives the events of Part 7 and becomes a good friend to Johnny. Well, something's unique, because it goes for elements of Part 2, Part 1 in a way, where we had total of 3 main characters, and not a big main cast. Part 7 focuses on 2 main characters, Johnny Joestar and Gyro Zeppeli. That's pretty interesting, when you think about it. It's the smallest cast to date in JoJo, if you don't count Part 2, that is. I mean, it started out as a... well, it's complicated. So yeah, JoJo. So, we head to New York as we introduced to our black kid being a pickpocket. Now this is 1930s America. He steals a wallet from a big muscular Englishman. But he gets caught by a bunch of racist cops. They say that this Englishman who has hormone. White banks him. White says his name is Smokey, and the man misintroduces himself as well. You could probably guess because he looks strangely familiar. As he's Joseph Joestar, the grandson to Jonathan Joestar, the first JoJo. No fact. Did you know JoJo's Part 3 was supposed to be the final part of JoJo back in the day? We'll be continuing with Part 4. Yeah, it's true. When you think about it, it kind of makes sense. There are 3 things that tie those parts together. I think I'll talk more about this in Part 3. But still, now you think about it, yeah, it does seem like it's going to be what's like meant to be a trilogy with some elements carrying over. Like, hey, the stone masks carried over from Part 1. We learn about the history here. Johnny's grandmother came to America. His grandmother obviously being Arena Pendleton, who's got there's a bit more of a spunk to her now in a way. She has spunk when she was young, but she's definitely gone a lot more of age. She's not the focus. It's nice to see in a new light. Jokes. So yeah. So, I mean, back to Speedwagon. Straits betrays them kills kills all the people that were with him, and brutally wounds Speedwagon, seeing to kill him. Age is, even though hormone is slowed down his aging, he's still getting older, and that fear caused him to do this, as he now uses the Speedwagon's blood to use the stone mask, and goes after Joseph, and he said Jonathan then. So yeah, a little time has passed. About 6 months have passed since then. Yes. Loki's become a good friend to Joseph. And helps out. Since when he had no longer hair? Yeah, that's inconsistent now. Did he keep his hair under his jacket? So I guess, but they didn't show any signs of having longer hair, but I don't know. I'm thinking of a guy who was a racist pig. Joseph beats him up. Joseph has a knack of talent for being able to predict his opponent's work, predict what his opponent says. Oh, yeah, then he forgot. See, Speedwagon has a flashback to when Joseph saved him when they were flying together on a plane. See, in the manga, Joseph reads a comic book with Superman on it. That's all handy done since the series took place in 1938. But there's a bit of an inconsistent problem though. Because, don't forget, this is a flashback. A few years prior, as you know, Superman was created in 1938. But this flashback takes place a few years prior when he was only 12. So he's around 18 to 19 years old. No, anime changes it to him being empowered, but that is still inconsistent. Because there were no proper mangakas at the time. Then we got Osamu Tezuka was the first manga, was the father of manga around the 1940s and 50s, I think. Yeah, I think 50s. Yeah, 50s. So around the 1950s. So, of course, he was obviously reading the Western comic translated into Japanese. But still, Bao wouldn't exist. They could have used a pre-existing character like the Shadow, who actually existed at that point in time. You know, the Shadow actually did exist around that point in time the flashback takes place. So it takes place in 1932, that flashback. Just going off his age. Anyway. At the beginning of the fuck, his boss tells him the Speedwagon about what happened. Harina's definitely sad about it. The events of 50 years ago has come back to haunt her. Joseph really loves his grandmother. Really cares about her. Joseph can be a bit of a brute sometimes. Yeah, but he's a master of thinking on his feet. When push comes to shove, he's gonna come up with strategies. Anything with Joe doing on that wrong? Now, at the end of the part, there's a bit of an inconsistency in designs. But that could just be chalked up to art style change. But I'll get to that. Joseph, and later on, Joseph and Smokey are dinner. When Joseph knows the straights, confronts him. And Joseph ends up battling the straights. You can see how well he puts on his speed against straights. You know, Jake Straights has a mastery of Hamon. He can't exactly use it though. He can't exactly use his Hamon now. He's a vampire. You know, Joseph wins, but Straights does. He does actually. Joseph is smart. Figure out something. Why would he chuck Speedwagon's big body in the river? It's real because the Pillar Man sucks up blood. You know it's stopped now. You'll awaken soon. He's one of the German army has possession of it. Speedwagon is actually alive and is being under the care of Rudolf von Stroheim. In fact, he's partly the reason inspiration for the character Guy on Street Fighter. That's actually true. Oh yeah, Street Fighter came out in the 1980s as well, just as the manga, but part 2 came out around the early to mid 80s, I think. Actually, should check the specific year and the year Street Fighter came out. So Joseph, Stroheim says, of course, the Pillarman Santana. The Dutch uses the Sabiento, but I'm going by the Japanese thing. I'm going by what they're calling the Japanese version. But if I can't exactly remember what they specifically say, I'll go to the dub phrase, okay? So, Santana. Joseph's on his way to the German army base in Mexico, I think. Of course, deals with a spy sent by Stroheim, but Joseph easily defeats him. As he finds out Speedwagon's alive and he's happy. The reason he was going there is to find Speedwagon's body and give him a proper burial, but now he's happy he's alive. And Joseph somehow sneaks into the army base. All time, which is the whole... doesn't know how long he's been there, but... So what is the whole incident? Santana comes alive because he has intelligence. And he's able to pick up the language easily. Joseph reveals himself and fights off against Santana. Outwitting him most of the time. But he's strong and needs to be defeated by his son. A mansion possessed and has better than Stroheim's leg. So Stroheim has Joseph carve his leg. It's brutal, but so. In the end though, Santana is possessing the body of Stroheim. So Stroheim makes one sacrifice and blows himself up, but still doesn't stop Santana from escaping. But Joseph defeats him with sunlight reflected in the wall. While Stroheim may be in German, sorry. Stroheim may be a German, but yeah, we have a little bit of respect. He's a soldier. And he's proud of his country. Of course, we don't see a certain mustachio dictator in the series. Stroheim never left a legacy in family days. While Stroheim died, he revealed that there are more Pillarman in Italy. German soldiers keep him watch. So after that, Joseph and Speedwagon head off to Italy. Head off to Italy. To sorry, this is just acting up for some reason now. Heads off to Italy to meet up with a certain someone who might be able to take him down. He's actually the descendant of a certain Italian man. I'll get to that in a bit. Joseph meets a blonde playboy. He's also a hormone user. And Speedwagon reveals this man is actually named Caesar Zeppeli, the grandson of Will A. Zeppeli. And in a way, how he does his old Joseph's grandfather, he ended up doing something similar later on. And so, look at that. Joseph and Caesar don't exactly go off on the right foot. Still, he takes Joseph and Speedwagon to the location of the Pillarman awake, killing all the soldiers there. Caesar is friends with a German soldier named Mark, who's going to propose to his on-time girlfriend when he gets home. Of course, when he arrives to see the German soldier's dead, Mark gets badly injured. Half of his body gets cut off by those Pillar Men. The Pillar Men's names are Wamu, AC/DC, and Cars. Cars being the leader. Ability Cars is revealed to have later is a reference to a certain manga Rocky wrote before JoJo. I'm thinking I'm trying to recreate the pose, but I'm not good at it. What happens if you pair cars out with that guy? Let's see that again when I play that game. What an interesting interaction. So yeah, cars. Caesar's supposed to end Mark's life so he doesn't suffer. So Mark wanted. So now Joseph understands how Caesar felt. And both of them ready to face up against the Pillar Man. Caesar's ability uses bubbles mixing with hormone. But that's not enough to take them on. So after Caesar gets injured, Joseph ends up facing off against Wamu. And Joseph has a technique when it comes to bad guys. They're pretty strong. By using his legs to run away! It may seem like a cowardly move, but actually, when you think about it, that's actually good mindset in a way. Joseph's potentially leading the villain away from people. That way, if he ever dies, they won't get hurt. You'll be the only one getting hurt. It's actually a smart strategy Joseph has. Joseph may not be smart, but he's good at strategizing, coming up and picking on his feet. You gotta admit that. Of course, Joseph does have a hearing gag that comes out to bite him in the ass later on in part 4. Oops. I'm sorry, didn't mean to say that. Just so yeah. You know, Joseph couldn't defeat Wamu. He managed to bluff his way out by saying to give him 3 months to get stronger. But of course, they buy the bluff. They made it put a little condition and rents on his throat and heart. AC/DC also did the same. That's what the whole point of the 2 Rinsmen. So now he has 3 months. He has to train in 3 months. Oh yeah, 3 months actually have passed. I meant to say 3 months early on, but I said 6 months by mistake. So yeah. Joseph gains Caesar's respect after that. It's a neat way of fighting, really gains Caesar's respect. So Caesar takes Joseph to his teacher to learn about Hamon. That's where they meet his teacher, named Lisa. Her origin is unknown. No one knows about her past. No one knows her real name. Obviously, because Lisa is a code name. And so she puts Joseph and Caesar for training. Joseph initially complains, but goes stronger. Learns a lot more. Learns to show his Hamon. And when it's time for his final test, his instructor gets killed by AC/DC. And Joseph to fight him. Very quick. I do like how Hamon leads to a lot of creative fights. Unlike Jonathan, who just used Hamon with a punch and just fought with a sword. Didn't actually think on his feet much. Joseph, however, used creative ways to fight his opponents. Some that actually work into battles with later on down the line. So Joseph is actually set the foundation to what JoJo battles should be like. Okay, the reason why Hamon's not being used after part 2. It's not completely gone, it's appears in part 3, but I'll get to that when I get to part 3. Anyway, Joseph defeats AC/DC, but AC/DC still remains as a brain. And he ends up possessing Susie Q, who the woman who works for Lisa. She's a natural born Italian, seeing she and Joseph have a bit of a thing for each other. Yeah, that's part that no one is actually like much, because not much chemistry, and we didn't have much time to spend with her. And ICDC, sorry, ACDC possessed her, and well, ACDC possessed her, and shipped the Redstone in Asia somewhere else. No, that's what they're after, the Redstone in Asia. Whether they become the ultimate life form. That's why I must keep it out there. But it's not to be destroyed, but it should have been destroyed from the beginning. That way they can never get their hands on it. But still, at least Lisa had her own reasons. Right. After EC is defeated properly, they head out to find the stone. And Suzuki recovers from her injuries. She was staying thanks to ACDC. Sorry. And she's writing about the Germans found it too. So in the end I had to cooperate with them. Cars comes in looking for it. His ability to use blades on his arms, which is a reference to the character Bao from Bao. And Bao got rid by a rocky part of the JoJo. Shane is not. I think there is an English translation of Bao, but I haven't looked. Maybe give it a look. Maybe. Anyway, Joseph. Anyway, one of the Germans is actually viewed to be Rudolf von Sturheim, who's now more of a cyborg, and he loves German science and fights out with his cars. He's interested, but ends up losing in a way. So now it's a race to the stone. In the end, Joseph managed to outwit Cars and get the stone. But Cars is not done. He will come under the stone. And get revenge for one ACDC's death. So anyway, they had a villa in the icy mountains of... They found a villa. And while Joseph and Caesar end up in an argument, and while Joseph insults their grandparents, which really makes Caesar mad as he goes off alone. It's actually revealed to Joseph about his heritage. And Joseph did regret saying that. He shouldn't have said that. He didn't mean to hurt Caesar like that. He didn't know he was so proud of his family. If he knew he was that proud, we knew his backstory, he wouldn't have said those things. Joseph was in the wrong, but he didn't mean to offend Caesar. And that ultimately come to someone he'd come to regret even more later. See, a brief touch upon Caesar's past. Caesar's father, Mario, I think that was his name, Mario Zeppeli, disappeared when he was 10 years old, leaving him and his siblings behind. He was then his father turned to delinquency. He already had harmful potential and someone was using it without realizing it. What is it when people learn their powers through fighting? Job. Sorry, got a cough. After following his father to the Colosseum, buying the Pillar Men. We actually won't get more detailed version of Italy until much later down the line. When we finish part 5 spoiler, because while the Colosseum actually happened in the same location, but where the Pillar Men walk. Or we could have just gone a reference to that. It'd be nice, but oh well. His brother sacrificed himself to save Caesar, even though he didn't know it was Caesar. And was killed. Caesar about revenge for what they did against the Pillar Man for killing his father. Caesar. So yeah, anyway, back to present day. Caesar ends up fighting against Wamu. And Wamu is a fighting genius. Any small opportunity he gets, he takes advantage of. Any small opening there is, he takes quick advantage of. As Caesar learns. He made a mistake of giving him that advantage. Caesar fought hard against Wamu, but in the end, lost. with the last bit of energy, stealing one who's lip win. Joseph obviously took ACDC's win. That's how you get my point. And ties it to his bandana, puts it in the bubble, and fills it all the last of his hormone. While the cave entire room building collapses. Caesar dies. One was trying to not to destroy the bubble, out of respect for a fallen warrior. He was a brilliant fighter. Joseph and Lisa both found out Caesar's death. It's a really emotional thing. Even though he died, it's like his death was different. He still gave all his hormone to Joseph, similar to what Zeppeli did to Jonathan 50 years ago. Wow, it's kind of sad. The Zeppeli family always had to sacrifice themselves. I wonder if Caesar's dad never died, would he even want to meet Joseph? Who knows? It's a truly emotional scene as they cry Caesar about Caesar's name. Yeah. Now they're gonna fight against the Pillar Man. Caesar makes a threat that if they don't fight one-on-one, each of them don't fight one-on-one, then the red stone will be destroyed. That's me agree. Joseph versus Womu in a chariot race. Sorry. Joseph faces Joseph faces Womu in a chariot race. It was a really epic battle, and in the end, Joseph wins. And shows the same respect that he showed to Caesar. Like, all his blood to put out the smoke on his body. That he won't die painfully. We do show respect too. Womu was a bad guy. He's still a warrior, and that's what we respect. So now it's Lisa versus Cars. But Cars has no attention at playing fair. He's very dirty and uses a doppelganger and stabs Lisa from behind, gaining the stone. So end up Joseph facing him with Speedwagon, Strawhine, and Smokey showing up, taking down the vampires. So Joseph can fight Cars. Yeah, Joseph managed to win against Cars. That's not over. And it's actually revealed that sorry about that. This is getting my nerves even more now. He's just acting up for no reason. I don't know what's causing this. Anyway. We learn that Lisa's real name is Elizabeth. She's the baby that was rescued on that boat by Irina 50 years ago. Makes Lisa around 50 years old. It's kind of similar to hormone Straits was using. So he still ages, so he aged slowly. So it's also revealed that Elizabeth full name is Elizabeth Joestar, the mother of Joseph. Not even Joseph knew. See, a few years ago during World War I, a vampire survived and became part of the Royal Air Force of the UK. One of the people under there was George Joestar II, Joseph's father. He and Lisa fell in love and got married and had Joseph. Unfortunately, the good fortune was not on their side. George discovered the truth that the commander was a vampire and paid the price for it. Died. Lisa, full of emotion, heads up and kills the commander. Of course, no one knew about hormone or zombies, so they thought she just murdered the captain or something, or whatever he was called. So, yeah. Speedwagon took her away somewhere, and she ended up in Italy under the identity of Lisa. And so Joseph doesn't know the suffering that happened. They decided not to tell him anything. Anyway, UV lights. Still high max says the UV lights, but and Unfortunately, Cars had a counterattack by having putting the stone in the mask. Ends up becoming the ultimate life form. Joseph knows there's no way to beat him here, so hightails it out of there, luring Cars away. Now, the enemy does make a mistake with Sturheim, but I'll kind of get to that a little bit when I mention it. Joseph leads Cars away when he's flying the plane. Sturheim's also there helping him out. Now, if you actually want to look at all the errors are, go watch Debunking the Rocky for Golf on Harmon Beat. Because it's pretty interesting. Joseph, there. Question on the volcano. Joseph was willing to sacrifice himself. Seeing Cars was leading the volcano, he wasn't. And process, Joseph lost his hand. But thanks to instincts, he uses the red stone, causing an eruption. And the block defines space. Cars ends up being pelted into space. Defeated, he could no longer move. He'll be there for all eternity. Never be able to die, and eventually start thinking. Joseph Joestar suddenly died on February 28th, 1939. A few months later in April, they're holding the funeral. Because Joseph's alive, he's got a prosthetic hand thanks to Sturheim. And he ends up marrying Susie Q. And Susie Q, being a goof, kind of forgot to send a telegram. It was quite a funny moment, but yeah. I'm going to get a narration about what happens. Lisa told her true identity to Joseph, and the three of them moved to America. I don't specify what year she died. Now, Arena Hamilton still being a good school teacher until she passed away at the age of 89 or something in 1950. Speedwagon still continued his business and grew stronger. Drink business, and passed away of a heart attack in 1952. Smokey became the mayor of Georgia, first black mayor of Georgia. Sturheim ended up dying in the war, like a true soldier he is. And Joseph ended up having a daughter. As you see in the image, we don't know her name. Years later, it's now in the 1980s. It says 1987, but the series took place in 1988. As he's in the airport on his way to Japan, he hates the Japanese because his daughter married a Japanese man and ran away. The Japanese man did. Now, Joseph's old man design is a little inconsistent here because it changes in part 3, but it's probably due to the art style change. That's just a guess. I'm just guessing on that. Of course, it does look similar, just different art style. He's heading to Japan as, a few years prior, in 1983, a couple was found in the show's Dio. And we get a hint of our next JoJo in a prison cell. His face is covered as Jotaro Kujo. I do like how his face is covered, is shadowed. I wanted to see what he looked like in that art style, but oh well. It sets up part 3, Stardust Crusaders, which we get to in a future video. I do not know when though. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoy my content, please hit the thumbs up button. If you want to see more, subscribe to the channel. Notification bell will be updated always comes in the future. And see you guys later for Bleach 1000-Year Blood War episode 24. Because next week we have double bill episodes. Also, plan to do more anime in the future. Kill Phoenix out. And don't forget to check my manga channel.